Hello and welcome to another ship review. Today we will talk about Algos. Algos is the most popular Tick 1 destroyer, and it's also my popular destroyer. I used it a lot back in the day, and it was my main ship for an Ironman challenge. This is one of two drone destroyers, and it is the most flexible destroyer. So you can go crazy with feats. Algos can essentially do almost any archetype except anti-kiting, obviously, but everything else it can do just fine. Don't really look at the poor win rates. Algos and many other Tech 1 destroyers are extensively used by new players and farmers in faction warfare. So there are a lot of losses that do not really represent the objective strength of a ship. For example, you can use Algos as a farming ship, just go into a small navy complex in Empire faction warfare, launch your drones, and then just go do something else. When the rats spawn, they will aggress your ship, and your drones will automatically aggress on the NPC. They will kill the NPC and they will just run the timer. So all you need to do essentially is just get back to your PC once in like 20 minutes and swap into a different complex. It's very convenient, it's just pretty bad game design, but nevertheless. Okay, so this ship has 633 slot layout, so you get a minimum of 3 slots for decent control and destroyer, and most of the bonuses are for drones. You get drone hit points, drone damage, and drone speed. The hit points and speed are especially important. The drone speed damage means that your DPS cannot be kited realistically, because any light drone will catch up to any kiting frigate. And drone hit points mean that Algos' DPS cannot really be cleared. You just don't have enough hit points in a frigate and destroyer PvP to kill a whole bunch of drones with bonuses to hit points. And because your main DPS will come from drones, you can do whatever you want with the rest of the feat. So you can go with different types of guns. You can go with different types of tank. You can even drop guns entirely and go like full tank and full DPS. Or you can drop guns and do neuting feats. So this allows a lot of flexibility in archetypes, and this is one of the main reasons why I like this destroyer so much. Now, in terms of performance, as a general rule, again, you shouldn't really look into the numbers that much for the reasons that I mentioned before, but like in my experience, you can't really fight navy destroyers. These are just better versions of your ship. You can't really fight assault frigates except a couple of borderline cases. Against Tick 1 frigates, it should be an easy win. Against Tick 1 destroyers, it's a decent matchup. I think Algos generally has pretty good win rates. It's not probably the best, but it's pretty good in Tick 1 destroyer against Tick 1 destroyer matchup. And against navy frigates, again, I think 25% win rate is far too low. In my experience, it's probably closer to like 40 to 50% if your feat is good. Again, it depends a bit on feats and positions, but drones in general ensure pretty good win rates against frigates, because your DPS will be consistent and you don't really care that much about getting out controlled by a frigate. Alright, let's look at the feats next. I will mostly show you the feats that perform well in the current meta. So in the meta that's dominated by Navy frigates and Navy destroyers. If you are watching this in the distant future, these feats may not look optimal anymore. But currently I feel like these are the best. So the first one and my most favorite is the Tenorman web kiting Algos. So the idea of this feat is that you sit maybe something like 13-16 kilometers away from the beacon, and when someone comes, they usually have to burn towards you, and then you can just activate your Tenorman and burn away from them. It's very difficult for any frigate, even a close range frigate, to win DPS race against this Algos. So this Algos has 9000 hit points and more than 300 DPS. I think with hit it's even up to like 350 DPS. So of course you are lacking control still and you will not be very agile, but the feature of this feat is that when your opponent realizes that he is not going to win, they cannot simply leave because they will be under web and they will have to burn 28 kilometers to escape a warp disruptor. And then your drones will just constantly do damage to them. And the way it usually works in practice is that people realize they cannot win, they try to disengage, and they just don't have enough time to disengage. So this feat kind of mitigates the problem with control, which is typical for many destroyers. One of the reasons why you can perform well in a Navy frigate against a destroyer is that you can always leave when you are losing the fight. But against this feat, it actually takes a lot of skill to leave the fight in time because it's quite complicated. And you can also, if you don't like Tenorman, you can simply swap Tenorman for a micro warp drive and just treat this feat as a normal kiter. But in my experience, Algos just isn't fast enough to kite effectively with micro warp drive, so I think Tenorman is better. You just need to practice and get a hang of how to use these web kiting feats to be effective. The next feat that I like is the Newton Algos. These Algos will net you a bunch of kills against close range cap dependent destroyers and frigates. In particular, you can very easily kill assault frigates in these and get some pretty decent kills relative to your investment. The idea is similar to Navy Tristan, but of course this platform will have much higher DPS and much higher tank, so you can engage even like a Blaster Navy Catalyst. You should be able to shut him down before you run out of hit points. The micromanagement is the same essentially. You cycle your heated newts until your opponent runs out of cap, when you leave 1 or 2 newts staggered to keep your opponent capped out, and when you can start to rep the incoming damage from drones, for example, with your ancillary rep. And you usually don't need micro warp drive, this is just for on-grid mobility, and your cap kind of works fine. So for example, if you only need newts, like in the initial stage of a fight, when you will be cap stable essentially with a cap booster, and if you need like 2 newts and ancil rep, you're again cap stable, so it kind of works. The next one is, I think this one is the most popular currently. This is essentially like a bullet sponge. You just feed the maximum tank possible, and when you just engage in the DPS race. Because again, many frigates or destroyers, they cannot escape your DPS from drones. And at kiting ranges, you have such a massive tank that it's very difficult. I can't say impossible, it's possible, but it's very difficult for a kiting frigate, for example, to win the DPS race against you, because they will still take damage from drones, and you have just so much hit points that you can survive for a very, very long time. And if your opponent comes in and tries to brawl you when you have a lot of additional DPS from your guns, and again, this fight turns into just a straight DPS race, and for the majority of brawlers, it will not be easy to break your tank. This feat cannot really fight close range navy destroyers. These are obviously just better in terms of tank to DPS, but against many Tick 1 destroyers and against many frigates, this feat will work just fine. So I think these three feats are the best for the current meta. As I said, the meta changes, and one of the benefits of Algos is that you can just adjust your feed to counter the current meta. Maybe in the future we will have a different meta, and these feeds will need to be adjusted. But for now, I think this is the way you can extract the maximum value out of this Tech 1 destroyer. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next ship review.